Today, we're really going to shift focuses a little bit, because so far we've been talking about the development and use of technology and innovation. We're here, though, not just about an outcome that is solely involving technology, and the innovation shouldn't be just for technology's sake. We're here to address one of the most important problems that our country is facing today. We risk losing our competitive edge across the globe. We risk having costs associated with healthcare squeeze out other parts of what governments through our country can do. And I think that a great part of what we'll need to solve this problem is not just going to come from the machines in the back of the room. I'm really hopeful that we're able to solve a great deal of problems that way. But I want to get to some more pieces that are fundamental. Some of the biggest problems today in healthcare involve payment, but payment reform will not solve it. We know that the delivery of healthcare must change in our country, but the delivery reorganization is not going to solve it. And we could have the best computer systems, the most capable, fastest processors. That's not going to solve it. Our problems really are something more fundamental, and it's a little ironic that we're here in the hometown of some of the best food in the country, because it's our behavior.
And I'll give you a story on that. I went to the airport, getting ready to catch a flight, as I always do. Computers went down. No restaurant could take anything but cash. I almost starved to death. That's how we do things now, right? And our children are going to be even worse than we are. They're going to learn a lot differently than we are. So nowadays, who could fathom having your bank account in a cloud 15 years ago? Who could fathom paying your bills by your phone as you walk down the street? If anybody has Chase here now, I can write you a check. You can take a picture of that check, and it can be instantly deposited into your account and ready for use. If I owe you money, I can bump my phone to yours and pay you without ever exchanging any money changing hands whatsoever. That's our business today. As AT&T, that's what we do, is bring all those things together. And that doesn't have to be in just that scenario. It could be in the scenario of the portal of information you get from the internet. We control that as well, to some extent. The media you get at home from social feeds over your cable network. We do that as well. So that's how we got to reach our kids. So now we got to do the same thing with healthcare as you think about that.
An extraordinary story in numbers. 276 participants coming in from 3 countries. I'm not including me coming in from India, because I no longer can call myself Indian. I'm an honorary Cajun. So folks from across the nation, from 15 states, but from Canada and from Germany. And the guy coming in from Germany was a software programmer, and he said, I don't know if Reza is here. Reza, are you here? Reza, thank you. Welcome to Louisiana, and welcome to the United States. So when I saw this guy's registration, I mean, I've been here in the United States for 20 years, so I kind of know all the abbreviations of all the states. And that abbreviation didn't make sense. I'm like, okay, what is this? I mean, and then found out that he was from Germany, and I said, Reza, you know that you have to be in the United States. You have to be in Lafayette to compete. You know that, right? And he said, yeah, absolutely. I've got already my flight ticket. So he had his aunt and uncle who are friends who are from New Orleans. They drove him. I'm putting him at a hotel. But his vision was that he said, I want to start a company. I want to win the money, and whether we win the money or not, I want to start a company in Lafayette, Louisiana. So Todd, update your statistics. We are looking forward to have another startup company in Lafayette, Louisiana. And that is incredibly the story that we are here for. That is what we are here to celebrate.
I always tell a story that I was helping a family and working with, and my wife's a child development psychologist, and she's asked me to come in and give talks at different schools, California and Louisiana. And one of the things that was asked is, hey, is Fritos, is that a vegetable? Because it has corn in it. It's a corn chip. No, it's not. It's those types of things to educate individuals of what are the right choices. But I think we need to make more advocates out in the communities, but we also have to give them tools to help them influence and impact a population.
There's really very simple why we're overweight. Why children are overweight, and why there's so many of us that are overweight, it's because it's inevitable. We choose certain things in life. We choose the things we want for ourselves, and we choose the things we want ultimately for our children, and those choices have led to an epidemic level of obesity. You might say, well, how could we possibly choose to be overweight? And the answer is it's very simple. We choose a variety of things, and there's about 24 of them, that if you make those choices, being overweight and then ultimately being obese is guaranteed for at least a third of the population and probably half the population within 20 years. It's an absolute guarantee. You only have to make these choices and then you too will be overweight, or your children would.
So the idea here is very simple. You get 5 minutes to present. Just imagine the Shark Tank on steroids. It is going to be really intense. You have a really short period of time. You have to communicate what you're doing in a very short period. You'll get 3 minutes of Q&A. We have about 20 judges split into 3 different groups who quiz you and grill you and try to figure out what it is that you did and what does it mean and what does it matter. We really like live demos, so although we are going to require each team to give us a slide presentation that describes what you did, we only really want you to focus on the live demo. So the way I like to think about it is give us 30 seconds, a minute on your slides, and then go right into your demo. Brevity rocks, get to the point, tell us what you're doing, and more important, show matters more than tell, right? Show us what you're doing rather than tell us what you're doing. And then finally, you're responsible for your own setup. So I see a lot of people in the back with Macs. I always travel with a dongle with me so that I can connect to the projector, be ready to go tomorrow.
So that's why I think the combination of the data sets that you have and a tool like HealthVault to help create behavior change on a phone, on a PC, on the Kinect, on the Xbox, whatever that might be, is really where the kind of exciting things is. And there's a few ingredients that we need to be able to do that. You need to have comprehensive data. You need to know that the information about a person, about yourself and your family, is available in a comprehensive way, not just little bits and pieces, but as the course of living our lives, we're able to know what's happening and sense it and how to capture that stuff. It's need to happen kind of in real time, because we need to make decisions in real time. And so ideas that this would sort of flow around a quarter later, or that we can do long-term analysis, is kind of cool, but not really cool. It's got to be there and something we can act on at the time we're making food choices, at the time we're making those things happen. It's got to have all the sort of must-haves built in, privacy and security, and we need to be able to share, because every time we sit down to build a new app and we're defining a new way to do that stuff, it's wasting time that we could be solving actual problems with. So let's solve that stuff once, and then it's got to be open. It's got to be in a position where people can take their smarts, the smarts in this room, and actually build applications and tools and provide insight, and you can't do that unless you actually have something that other great developers can get at. And when you have all those things together, something kind of emerges, which I call, and my team's sick of me hearing me talk about it this way, but it's just incredibly special. I call them guardian angels. Guardian angel applications that are not the thing that I'm doing to prepare for my doctor. That's important and that's relevant. But because that information is flowing, I now have the capability to apply smarts and intelligence and pattern matching and anomaly detection to that stuff to really solve some problems and make me aware of things so that I can make those better choices when it's time to do so.
I talk around the country about this. I try to recruit innovators on behalf of America, right, to jump into healthcare and use health data. I had not heard of 90% of the entrants. I said, who are you? This is awesome. This is completely out of control. And the best part to me is events like this, right? Because basically, you came out of nowhere as far as I'm concerned, right? I mean, I love Bruce. I came down to hang out with Bruce and his team. There's so much awesomeness happening, by the way, here in Louisiana. It's a real model for the country in so many respects, including this one, but many other respects as well. I talked about health data liberation, right? Zach started saying liberation. Ramesh, I got him and said, we're going to do a Codefest in Lafayette. I said, that's fantastic, right? I wasn't sure what happened next. Next thing I know, Ramesh calls and says, there are 300 people convening in Lafayette with the support of the entire community and an arsenal of companies with huge amounts of data, not just from HHS, but from the state and other sources, to focus in an epic Codefest on building solutions that can help contribute to the fight against child obesity. I said, what? This is fantastic. This is fantastic. And this is why I'm so optimistic about America right now. Why I'm so optimistic about our fight to solve our biggest challenges. Because if there's only one thing I really learned as a private sector entrepreneur. And so I had some success as a private sector entrepreneur. My company, athenahealth, went public for $1 billion. It's now worth $2.7 billion. Of course, I've divested. When you join the US government, you have to sell everything. You can't own anything anymore, so I'm fully divested. Castlight Health was actually, the second company I co-founded, was named by the Wall Street Journal as the #1 venture-backed company in America, 2011. HealthPoint, services company in India, was named by India as the top social innovation in the health space last year. Actually, both HealthPoint and athenahealth were named by MIT recently as 2 of the top 50 most innovative companies in the world. And there is one reason why that's true, why all that success happened. It's not me, okay? It's definitely not me. It's that I understood one rule, which is the following. If you get the best people, you win. If you don't, it becomes much more difficult, right? The same thing is true of ecosystems. The same thing is true of ecosystems. If we can attract the best people on the planet to help us solve our problems, there's no problem America can't invent its way out of. No problem we can't invent our way out of. And that is what I'm so excited about, because this represents that principle in action. We're attracting the best people in the world to care about the problem of child obesity and come up with some breakthrough, some beginning of a breakthrough that can make a big difference in the fight. And beyond whatever you invent today, I hope you just get addicted to this problem. Get addicted to this problem and turn it into your life's work.